Trump's major mistake: how Trump's memo caused nationwide panic. Welcome to Insight Wire News, where we dive into the latest and most impactful stories shaping our world. Today, we're discussing a huge mess at the White House involving a massive federal funding freeze that has caused confusion and chaos across the country. It all started when the Trump administration released a memorandum that was meant to halt nearly all government grants and loans. The idea was to freeze funding, but what followed was an absolute disaster for both the government and the American public. This poorly written memo threw everyone into disarray, from lawmakers to regular citizens. People couldn't access critical government websites, including Medicaid portals. Questions flooded in. What about my SNAP benefits? Am I going to lose access to health care? What's happening with the funding? And no one seemed to have the answers, not even the White House. The memo was so unclear that even the Trump administration had no idea what its full impact would be. It became clear that they were in over their heads. In fact, this chaotic decision trickled down to the Pentagon. Officials there, who were already dealing with a high-stakes military environment, were suddenly faced with conflicting directives. How do you freeze federal funding, including military aid, without a clear plan? The memo was so vague that it caused confusion across multiple sectors. From military defense programs to state budgets, everyone was left scrambling to figure out what the freeze actually meant for them. This isn't the first time we've seen the Trump administration's chaotic decision-making, but it is one of the most public examples. The memo, originally issued on a Monday, was rescinded by Wednesday, just 36 hours later. That's right. The White House had to reverse course and rescind the entire memo after widespread confusion and a federal judge blocking it. It's almost hard to believe that they would act so recklessly with something so important. The confusion didn't stop there. The memo caused panic and concern among many people who rely on government assistance. People thought their SNAP benefits might be cut, or that other vital services would be frozen. But the administration made it clear that certain benefits would not be affected, though it took them days to clarify the situation. What followed next was even more bizarre. The Pentagon was forced to walk back its own directive about military contracts and new weapons just hours after issuing it. Officials there had to clarify that no freeze would be implemented, despite earlier reports suggesting the opposite. Once again, this pointed to a lack of proper communication and planning within the administration. The chaos only escalated from there. In a last-ditch effort to clear the air, the White House issued a new one-page memo rescinding the initial order. This came after the federal judge blocked it, but the memo's wording was still vague. It was simply a one-liner that rescinded the entire freeze. What's clear from all this is that the Trump administration has not learned from its previous mistakes and continues to make decisions that affect millions without a clear plan or understanding of the consequences. The real question is this the result of a White House that is fundamentally incapable of governing, or is it a sign of people who are desperate to push their agenda forward, regardless of the cost? For those of us watching from the outside, it's hard not to conclude that it's the latter, an administration that operates in a constant state of confusion while putting lives at risk. If you're wondering how this all fits into the bigger picture, it's just another example of the Trump administration's chaotic approach to governance. Whether it's freezing funding, rescinding executive orders, or mishandling military contracts, the outcome is the same: confusion, panic, and a lack of accountability. And it leaves many wondering what's next for the country under such leadership. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more breaking news updates, and share your thoughts on this chaotic situation in the comments below. As always, we value your support here at Insight Wire News and will continue to bring you the most relevant updates on politics, leadership, and the events that impact your everyday life.